up?
Hey, Jaleel.
Hey, Aaliyah. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Oh my goodness, it is so nice to finally meet you in person after talking on social media and IG and Twitter and all of that stuff. Thank you
Yes,
so much for doing this with me today. How are you?
I'm chilling. I'm doing really good. I just finished some new art pieces, as well. So I'm feeling really good right now.
That
How
is
you
awesome.
feeling after the Essence
I,
Festival?
I'm feeling good. I'm staying active, keeping busy, booked and busy.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Well,
Listen, make that money, honey.
yes, make the money and don't let the money make you.
Right, right.
How has your summer been going so far? Have you done anything fun, any, personal stuff or all work?
So far this summer, it's been a calm summer so far. But this we celebrated Juneteenth Part 2
Mm-hmm.
on Monday instead of the 4th, and all of my friends got together. That was the first cookout that I've gone to this summer, so it was a good time. And then we just had our Pride here in Syracuse last week as well, so that was a lot of fun too. But yeah, I'll definitely look forward to July. It's about to heat up. I'm ready to see what's about to go down.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's get to it. Jaleel, thank you again for joining me for this conversation. Thanks to everybody who is logging on, tuning in. We got some cool people. I appreciate everyone for being here this evening, this afternoon. And this is a conversation with artist Jaleel Campbell. I am a big fan of his work. He's a visual artist, and I am a huge fan of his work. I recently discovered Jaleel a couple of months ago, and I purchased one of his pieces entitled Homecoming. So Jaleel, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I'm Jaleel, and I'm born and raised here in upstate New York. So from Syracuse, I attended Casanova College for my undergrad, where I studied graphic design. But it was there that I realized I'm a stronger illustrator than I am a graphic designer per se. So my art practice is all about, celebrating and highlighting us Black people. How can I put my spin? I want my work to be regarded the same way as the Ernie Barneses of the world, or like the Derek Adams, or even just some of these different art pieces that we can think of in the back of our head, that we grew up with seeing. I want my work to have that same type of effect on people.
Yeah, and you mentioned, some very famous Black artists like Ernie Barnes, and that's a centerpiece of your work, the Black experience. So
Yeah.
how do you go about conveying the Black experience and the Black joy?
Right. So Black joy for me is something that is just so vital to my being. I have to be in spaces around Black people, period. It's always a good time. So outside of doing my illustration work, I also organize different events and stuff in my city. Again, giving people reasons to step out of their house, dressed how they want to be dressed, fly. And, we all get together and just have such a fun time. I feel like the whole energy of my artwork emits that same type of feeling. And how I go about that is just by observing us in our, when we just be chilling, and I'm always gassing my friends up, because I feel like I take all of my inspiration from the direct people that's by me, and yeah, we naturally just have so much fun together. I think it just rubs off on the artwork, definitely.
Yeah, and Jaleel, I really love all of your work that I've seen, and I really, really love your collection that was inspired by the Black arts movement. So
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about, of course, we're just talking about you enjoying creating, the conveying the Black experience through your art, but can you talk a little bit about what inspires you, in some more detail?
Yeah, so for me, growing up, my mother, her house was my first art gallery or museum that I ever experienced in my life. So my mother made sure that we always had pictures, artwork on the walls. Um, she was always changing up the furniture in our household every like 3 to 4 years. Like that, her house is under construction as we speak. Okay, like she just always wanted something new. She was always trying to make her space this perfect space. She has been such an influence on me and my artwork. I'm definitely inspired by, again, artists from the Black artist movement and just how they were able to discuss and convey all of these powerful messages within their artwork. And again, highlighting Black people on such a level that wasn't paid attention to before that. It's very inspiring to me. So I also find a lot of inspiration from the people I follow on social media as well. Like there are so many different, and that's what I love the most about social media is that it allows you to connect with all of these other Black creatives that are creating just as compelling work as you. You know, we might not have center stage yet, but it's on the way. It is definitely on the way.
And I'm glad that you mentioned social media because, you know, social media and Web 2, that further enabled art and technology to converge. And now we have Web 3 and the whole development of a whole new Web 3.0 space. And you are going to have, you know, music and art and technology intersecting to an even greater degree. And
Right.
we see that now with the explosion of NFTs. You know, over this past year, NFTs really became more popular, more well known. You have had so many musicians and so many artists entering into the NFT space. I'm even invested in a couple of NFTs. And then I was excited to find out, like I said earlier, I am a fan of your work as an artist. And I was really excited to find out that you were, you know, launching your own NFT collections. And, you know, you recently launched 2 NFT collections, Blonde Ambition and In Secrecy. So can you talk to us about the NFTs and what made you want to get into this space, you know, because
Yeah.
this is the Wild Wild West right now.
Right. No, very much the Wild Wild West. Okay. Only the strong survive. But, you know, it's all new to me as well. Literally, one of my goals that I set for myself this year was to figure out a way to put something up in the NFT space. I had no clue about how I was going to do that, what was going to happen to allow that to happen. But around January, Alex of the Sunday Night Collective hit me up, and he like came up with a proposal to like him and Raul. They would be helping me put my stuff on to the NFT space. It's like, how did you know this was what I was looking for? This was one of the next steps that I wanted to do, you know? So I was able to have some discussions with them over Zoom a few times just to feel them out and see like how we can make this happen. And we actually made it happen. So the last collection just released, I believe, last Thursday. And I'm just excited to have my stuff up in there. Again, I came in with no expectations because this is a trial run. This is a test. I've never done something like this before. I'm still, you know, learning about it. And I know very little, but they have been guiding me this entire process. So I definitely appreciate them for all that they've, you know, just put into helping me put my work out there.
Yeah, and so for everyone who is just joining, I am speaking with artist Jaleel Campbell. He is based out of Syracuse, New York. He is a very talented young artist, and he recently launched 2 new NFT collections, Blonde Ambition and In Secrecy. With Blonde Ambition, you can really see the fashions, you know, with each character. You know, can you tell us about the inspiration behind that and what, you know, inspired you to make these characters so fashionable?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, like when I was in high school, especially, I was obsessed with Kanye West, and I was like his biggest fan, and I just remember him always having hand in something fashion related. And so I would come home from school, I would get a sketchbook and just start coming up with different sketches of like dude clothes and girl clothes. I also loved playing with dolls as a child, and so I would come up with my own outfits for these dolls and stuff as well. Fashion has just been something that I've always been interested in. By the time I got to like my senior year of high school, I had began making my own clothes like for school period. So I had the fashion thing on lock. So with this new piece, like the Blonde Ambition series, I wanted to go all out. I wanted to show these three figures that were literally dressed to the nines. You know, maybe they're getting ready, they pre-gaming for a night out with their friends. They got to go meet them downtown or something. But let me capture this moment of them in this living room real quick, you know, just to, you know, showcase them and what they had on. So I love Blonde Ambition. And for me, I had took a break from illustrating, and that woke me up. That piece, like, just it's one of those things where I have to be in the mood to create. I feel like I make my best work when I'm actually feeling it. If I don't feel it, I'm very selective with the type of stuff that I agree to do. And it's because I don't want to put something out in the world just to put it out in the world. You know, my things are intentional. I think that's something too that like brings something nice to the NFT space, because I have seen some collections that are just like, you could have left this in your drafts, okay?
Right, right, right. I totally get it. Now, your latest collection, the one that you just introduced, In Secrecy, I understand that there's a personal story behind that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah. So with In Secrecy, it's going back to what I was discussing with me growing up playing with dolls. And I was just obsessed with Bratz dolls. I love them so much, but because I was a boy, I wasn't supposed to play with them. And because of that, you know, over the years, like the sense of shame and guilt or whatever it may have been came over me, and it prevented me from like even, I was trying to suppress all of like me even playing with them as a child. So that was like the basis for my Jaleel dolls, which are dolls that I hand make. They're these like cloth dolls, and I do like a whole workshop with those dolls. But I wanted to come up with the illustration that showcased that young version of Jaleel, you know, in his room playing with his dolls, minding his business. And because that was the only safe space that I knew I had at the time, which was my room with those dolls. So it was just a nice way to revisit, you know, some of those things that you try your best to suppress growing up.
Wow, wow. That is, you know, a beautiful story, and thank you for sharing that. And I think that your work and, you know, this collection and the inspiration behind it, you know, will definitely inspire others and inspire young people and inspire artists. And in the NFT space, you know, people always talk about what is the utility behind the NFT besides just the artwork, you know, or, you know, whatever value that a particular NFT may hold within the market, right? They always ask, well, what is the utility? And so I know that the utility behind your In Secrecy collection is the fact that anyone who buys this NFT will receive an actual doll, right? One of the dolls.
Yes, they will receive a Jaleel doll, handmade by yours truly. So the dolls are really so fly. I actually like put one in the picture, you know, and I've been making them for about 4 years now. I had to take a break for some time because they just are they take so much out of me making them, but they're dope. They're really, really dope. So those that do buy them or buy the NFT, they will get a Jaleel doll.
And for everyone just joining, we have a lot of new viewers. I am speaking with artist Jaleel Campbell. I am a fan of his work. I actually own one of his pieces. I am proud to say Jaleel has just gotten into the NFT space, and he recently launched 2 new NFT collections entitled In Secrecy and Blonde Ambition. We're talking today about art, music, technology, and the intersection of all of them and the effects on our culture. So what have you learned, thus far? This is all, pretty new to you, but what have you learned? What has, launching these NFT collections, what have you learned throughout this process?
So far, that the possibilities are literally endless. I love foundation and going and checking out all of these different artists. Even on Twitter, the thing that I'm looking for is finding other Black artists in the NFT space. So, and what I've seen so far, their work is so futuristic, it's so surreal. That is the stuff that moves me, and I'm just like, yo, y'all really so talented. I'm definitely in good company.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the questions that people have about NFTs, particularly artists, is like, what does that mean for, traditional artists, with my work, living in an electronic format.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find is that there's so many artists. I think it's really opened up a lot of opportunities because people who I've engaged with on social media, particularly Twitter, meeting people from all around the world, artists from all around the world, artists from all sorts of backgrounds, different ages. I think, it actually opens up opportunities for their art to be seen and appreciated by more people, and this space is brand new, but I think the possibilities are endless. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. I agree, and I can't wait to continue to push the limits in terms of my artistry and how I can present that to, the world. So this is definitely a stepping stone, and I'm loving it so far.
So what do you have any advice or tips for artists who are interested in taking that step into, the NFT space and these new technologies?
I would say, I think the thing that I could say, because I can't say much because, I'm still new, but I would tell them to find some people that they can trust and that know their way around it, and hook up with them to help them put their stuff out there. Because had this been just me trying to figure it out, I know for me, I'm like somebody that has to have things explained to me. I can't learn from a YouTube, I was looking up all these different YouTube videos of people describing it, and it was like I was listening to somebody describe Forex or something. I'm not understanding. So find people that know what they're doing and you can trust, and get on up in there. So but yeah, shout out to the Sunday Night Collective, y'all.
Yes, love the Sunday Night Collective and what they're doing. And, just shout out to all of the Black artists who are entering into this space, all of the artists of color, all of the female artists,
yes,
who are, making themselves known, in this brand new arena. What I also wanted to ask is, are you hopeful about what Web3 and the metaverse and all of that presents for, art, for visual arts, for music, just for culture in general?
Yes, I am so excited for the possibilities, things that we are not even able to imagine in our heads is going to be able to go down in that space. And I know it is, like, a lot of people are skeptical and things about it, and we all move with some sort of skepticism. But I'm still excited to see what is to come. I'm gonna try my best not to dwell on the more sinister things that could happen, but instead, I'm definitely excited to see the type of artwork that's gonna come from this. There's also this Netflix series called Love, Death, and Robots. And when I think of this futurism type of stuff, and that's something that comes to mind. I'm heavily inspired by by Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. It's a really dope show. They show so many different illustration styles. This one short story in particular by the name of Zima Blue. Once I saw the style that it was created in, it took me on my path of my current illustration style, really. So like, yeah, I'm definitely inspired by that a lot.
Wow, I'll have to check that out. Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
Yeah, it's really dope. They got 3 seasons. The Zima Blue was in the first season, but that's the best one. That's the best one.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out tonight. And I don't know if you'll be able to answer this. I don't know if there is a simple answer or a short answer to this, but what do you feel is the overarching theme in your art, in your work?
I would say community and celebrating Blackness, you know, in all of its different ways. You know, I consider myself to be a time traveler in a sense, because I get a chance to go back in these different periods of Black time and create illustrations that depict that era. You know, to me, that is so dope. That's so interesting. With my Homecoming series, it allowed me a chance to go back and meet my great-great-grandparents. You know, I'm reading the books about them, but then I'm also coming up with what they may have looked like, you know. That was really dope to me, and I can't wait to do more of that. Like, I really want to do more illustrations. Some of, like, the themes that I want to hit on, mermaids. I grew up loving mermaids. I did one so far, but I want to do more pictures of mermaids. I want to do something that's like inspired by like Studio 54, or just like the club scene in the 80s and 90s as well. There's so many different things I want to touch on. So I need a little bit more time, but I'm definitely I'm gonna hit on all of those different things.
Wow. I love that you said that your work allows you to be a time traveler. And that's so important, you know, and particularly for African Americans, because a lot of our history has, you know, was stolen from us and also has been withheld and suppressed. So being able to connect to our history, our past, our roots, and our ancestors, you know, I think it's essential, you know, to our well-being, you know, and to our survival, you know, and to our culture. So I love that you said that. So this has been an amazing conversation, Jaleel. I'm so happy that we finally, you know, are getting to connect face to face. And, you know, this is, you know, not the last of these conversations.
Right.
You are artists. Again, some people are just joining us, but, you know, they'll be able to catch the replay. This has been an amazing conversation with Jaleel Campbell, an amazing young artist. He just launched two new NFT collections, but his art outside of and inside of the collections is amazing. So everybody, please tap in with Jaleel. Jaleel, how can people learn more about the NFTs, one, and then also how can people connect with you?
Okay, so you can go right over to my Instagram bio. My Instagram is JaleelJ.Blige, because Mary J. Blige is my mother in my head. And you can check out the NFT work. You can also find me at JaleelCampbell.com. I have all of my artwork available. You can find out more about my different projects that I do as well. Yeah, all of that. JaleelCampbell.com or JaleelJ.Blige on social media.
Yes, please check out Jaleel here on Instagram. He's also on Twitter at JaleelJ.Blige. Go to his website. You know, hit him up. He is very personable. That's how I, you know, him. Like I said, I purchased one of his pieces in the dining room. It's in my bedroom, so I can't show it to you all. But it's really dope. So I really just appreciate this conversation so much, Jaleel. I thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing, you know, all of your insights on art and, you know, the NFT space and our culture and your inspirations and, you know, revealing so much of yourself. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who is tuning in, everyone who's been supporting in the comments. We appreciate you all. This, again, has been a conversation with Jaleel Campbell, and I'm Aaliyah Crawford.